Hi and welcome back. Today is a huge treat for us. I was actually able to find some tri-tip beefsteaks at a local butcher. They do sell them here, but they sell out really quickly because there's only 2 on a cow, and they're not cheap. They are a California favorite. Little known fact, I grew up in California. I just got to Texas as fast as I could. Now, from what I have read, is that the tri-tip is a triangle shape and is the tip of the sirloin. They used to grind this up into the hamburger or cube it for stew. Now, in the 1950s, there was a butcher who worked for Safeway, which is a grocery store out on the West Coast, who convinced people that if you cook this properly, it would be the best part of the cow. Don't know about that, but it's mighty tasty. The name of this dish is going to be Santa Maria style tri-tip. It's, or better known as California tri-tip, because I think they, it was created in California. We're also going to go ahead and add some common vegetables to this. The most common blend is called the California blend. It is carrots, cauliflower, and broccoli put together. So let's get started. Had to close the door because more flies are trying to come in. Okay, so after you get this out of the package, you want to dry off the roast. With a paper towel. And then we're going to create our dry rub. Okay, for the dry rub, we're going to use 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of black pepper, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of paprika, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of rosemary, finely chopped. You don't want this to be like the chunky. You want it a little bit powdery. 1/4 teaspoon of annatto. Okay, make sure all the lumps and everything is out of your thing. You can even put this into a blender. Now, in a nice large, preferred cast iron because it browns evenly, but if you don't have one of these, that's fine. Just we need to be able to sear this big chunk of meat. So it depends on how big of a tri-tip that you get. I got a 2-pounder because we're going to need to sear all sides with the rub. Go ahead and coat the tri-tip, all sides. When this is hot enough, go ahead and put it in fat side down first and let it sizzle and sear for a few minutes, and then turn it over and then get the edges. We're almost done here. Now there's a couple of ways that you can cook this. I'm going to go a little bit unorthodox here and use the oven because it is way too hot to use the barbecue outside. You want to grill this indirectly on with either charcoal or wood is preferred. Until it gets to 125 internal temperature, and then let rest for 10 minutes. Now once you let it rest for 10 minutes, the internal temperature should be around 140 to 145, which is perfect for medium rare steak, and that is the perfect temperature for this type of roast. Now that everything is nice and seared, we're going to go ahead and put it in an oven of 325 until it reaches a temperature of 125, and then bring it out and let it sit, let it come back up to temperature using its own heat. Now every single one of these takes a different time frame. It can be 30 minutes for a smaller one, it can be up to 45 for a larger one like this. So we're going to go ahead and check this we're going to check this at 30 minutes, and then every 10 to 15 minutes after that to be able to see if it comes up to temperature. Okay, so that took about an hour. But like I said, it depends on the size of your tri-tip, of how much it's going to be. Let this rest for 10 minutes. And I have some broccoli here. I'm going to add some carrots to this as well. When we get to start plating. So there is a sauce that goes with the steak after you slice it and it's rested and everything, to be able to drizzle on top of that. We're going to make that. This sauce is called a chimichurri, and it starts with 3 cups of finely chopped parsley, It's a little bit more than 3 cups. We're going to take some and put it into our little mini blender. Okay, 1/2 cup of chopped cilantro. One half cup of olive oil. Two tablespoons of red wine vinegar. One tablespoon of honey. One tablespoon of chopped garlic. And just to let you know, if you chop your own garlic and it starts turning blue, that is a normal reaction to the minerals that are in the water. This doesn't mean that it's going bad. It's just a chemical reaction, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with the garlic. Salt and pepper. Probably do 1/2 teaspoon and 1/4 teaspoon. And we're going to go ahead and blend this up until it becomes sauce. My mistake. Add some lemon juice. The recipe calls for the juice of 2 lemons. They're about a tablespoon each, so about 2 tablespoons of real lemon. I'm going to stir that in. Isn't that gorgeous? Let's go ahead and slice. Into this. Now that we have let it rest, it's still pink in the middle. It's a nice medium to medium rare. Let's go ahead and plate this up. gorgeous. And that is California, Santa Maria tri-tip, and a little bit of Californian history as well. I do this whenever I can, whenever I actually am able to get a tri-tip around here. It's plentiful out in California. Well, it may not be now, but it was whenever I lived there. And it's also on a lot of other menus. It's not so common out here in Texas to be able to find one of these. Only a few selected butchers sell this cut of meat in my area, and I'm hoping that this recipe catches on, because it is a wonderful recipe and has a ton of flavor to it. Thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.